We're learning about fast food that's not fast food, but it plays in a segment of South Africa's economy which serves the upper crust. And one of my dad's favorite jokes about the upper crust is it's just a bunch of crumbs held together with a whole lot of dough. And you need dough to shop at Kauai. The menu prices are quite adventurous, but you're not shy about that. You're not holding back on the price points of Kauai, saying this is who we are, this is the proposition. And in doing that, you then team up with Discovery Vitality, which is in the upper crust. You're going to Virgin Active, which is in that demographic as well. Tell me about partnerships. You told us about the agricultural partnerships and the supply chain partnerships. When it comes to distribution of the product and location of the product, that's been a smart strategy too.
Yeah, we're strong believers in collaboration. We're not precious about our business.
That's a millennial trait as well.
Absolutely. So we want to work with the right-minded people who think the same as us, that service a similar consumer. The Virgin partnership has been phenomenal for us. It's, as you say, it's just a great distribution channel. We speak directly to a consumer that's already engaged in that health space. And not only do they eat or drink inside the Virgins, but generally they form habits, and those habits translate to out of gym experiences for us as well. Vitality, very similar. Discovery, very forward thinking in terms of how they pitch and position their products. Another great fit. Their consumer, their customer is exactly our customer. So natural overlap, great way to speak to them, way beyond the reach we could have by ourselves. So using that partnership, using their distribution base to help us distribute our product.
And that works with the Virgin Actives. I mean, Vitality, then the incentive that Discovery then builds into, if you're going to make a choice, make a smarter choice, and he has an incentive to do so. That becomes a very complicated conversation, doesn't it, with Discovery, who are not known for being shy and being tough negotiators.
They're certainly tough negotiators. They're extremely fair. I think where a partnership is mutually beneficial, where it's not one-sided, generally they're tough negotiations, but you get to the right point. If each partner equally needs the other partner, it works out well. We have something quite unique, is that if someone wants to do a national footprint of healthy restaurants, you can't go anywhere else. So they can't find another partner that can offer what we do that works with them nationally. So there's this mutual benefit, mutual respect. It works well.
Tell me then how you're globalizing the business, because so many South African businesses are globalized, some very successfully. Bidvest with its food services business did well. SAB is legendary. Nando's is probably the only South African restaurant group to truly successfully go global out of South Africa. Famous Brands has burnt their fingers really badly in the UK with Gourmet Burger Kitchen. Spur, as I mentioned before the break, getting hurt in Australia and New Zealand. We've seen lots of people really get damaged by their expansions. How are you going to do it differently?
So all those stories are something that I've learned from in terms of being very scared of international expansion. Quite honestly, to think we can go overseas and just make a success of it by ourselves is a little bit arrogant, and it's prone to failure.
I mean, you open up a shop in the middle of a city and it's Kauai. You can't even pronounce the name if you're in Abu Dhabi or New York or London. Yeah.
So what we've done, first of all, people have approached us. We weren't actively looking for these opportunities. We had companies approach us. And after doing our due diligence of these companies, generally strong local operators who have a footprint, so they have infrastructure in place, they have marketing, they have supply chain, they have distribution, they're big existing operators, and they have local knowledge. And we've signed territory franchise agreements with them. So they've committed to open stores. They're not single mom and pop groups, they're large groups.
What do you sell them though? Do you say, here's the menu, replicate this? I mean, you're selling a brand that doesn't exist in their markets. You're selling something that is huge value because they're not trying to do this themselves. They want your concept.
So I think just to the point is we haven't tried to sell them anything. These are people who have literally come to us. There are not many global health operators. What all these food operators have recognized globally is that health is the category they need to get into. Everyone is moving to health. It is, and we spoke about it earlier, it's that tipping point. It's no longer a trend. It's just the norm. So they've recognized that, and then they look globally, who can we partner with to do this? We can't do it ourselves. We want partners, we want people. Kauai has 23 years experience in healthy food, and they've approached us to partner with
Why is it so hard to replicate? I mean, surely if you can sell hamburgers and chips, you can sell wraps and smoothies. I mean, what makes the proposition worth their partnering with you rather than creating themselves?
It is a much more complex segment than hamburgers and chips. We do 3 different day parts, strong day parts, a strong breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner. We're doing not only food, we do juices, smoothies, which are quite unique. We do salads, we do warm bowls, we do wraps. So the offering is complex. It's an extensive menu. You can have a look there. It is not burgers and chips or chicken and pizza. It is a much more complex. There's systems in place. So I think the internationals have recognized, let's partner with people who've had the experience, paid their school fees, who understand that space.
What are your first 2 markets? Because you're going into 2 new markets.
We've opened in Holland. The first store is open in Utrecht Station. It's a beautiful store. I was there about 10 days ago. Flagship store in one of the busiest train stations in Europe.
And again, what a great place to create a brand presence. I mean, with probably 1 million people going through there every week, it's good traffic.
Correct. It's over 200,000 people a day through that station. And that was through a tender process where Utrecht Station, who know nothing about Kauai, over many other international brands, selected Kauai to take a prime location in there because they recognize health and they recognize Kauai's strength in that health space. So Holland is open. There's a rollout plan for Holland. We've done Southeast Asia with a big listed Thai group. The store is complete. The store opens in 2 weeks' time. So it'll be the first store in Thailand. Thailand was done also leveraging our partnerships with Virgin there. So we have Virgin. We're going into some Virgin clubs. Vitality is also actually in Thailand. So we use those partnerships, but we formed a JV there with a big listed Thai company.
I mean, how much financial risk do you take when you go into these expansions? Because that's what burns so many South African suppliers.
We don't take financial risk. And we partners from a supplying, training, resources to help them. So we send people across. You send a box
saying, here are trade secrets, buy that.
We bring them over here and we do extensive training in our stores. We then go over there, we send a team of trainers with them over there. We help them open their first couple of stores. We train their staff there. And that's our risk. It's obviously covered by an upfront fee we get from them. But we're not involved in any capex there. We don't spend money opening stores. It's an annuity-based model where we earn a royalty for the use of our brand.
I mean, I see that you've got a look on your face which says, it's like Mr. Blofeld in James Bond, you're going to take over the world.
We see an opportunity. We think health is universal. We're not a South African per se brand in terms of the food we produce. We're proudly South African from where we come from.
But this menu could be anywhere.
Exactly. Health can go anywhere, and our menu is exactly that.
What is happening? I mean, I was chatting to the chief executive of Spur the other day and trying to understand the use of Uber Eats and the Mr. D's of the world. And I can't think of anything worse than receiving a hamburger half an hour after it comes off the grill, after it's been in one of those flat-packed, squishy boxes on the back of somebody's motorbike, being delivered from my nearest Spur to my house or my office, whatever the case might be. Some things travel better than others, and this menu strikes me as a mobile menu. Are the Uber Eatses and the Mr. D's working for you?
They've been phenomenal. So two big game changers and growth opportunities, digital and delivery. They are huge in our
market. You've got the app, and so
absolutely.
The app makes
the app, the spend per head goes up, the frequency, the loyalty, it locks people in. And delivery has been phenomenal for us. We've also had partnerships initially with Uber Eats on an exclusive basis. Now we work with other delivery partners as well. The growth in delivery has been exceptional. And those things will continue to drive this space. You're 100% correct, though. There are still challenges to get in the product and to let the product to deliver from a taste point of view and from a presentation point of view the same as what we have in store.
Because that's your risk. I mean, your brand is at stake. If I receive this product, I'm not cross with Uber Eats for delivering me something that looks like mush. It's your brand that is mush.
That's why I talk about a collaboration. It's no use saying they pick up the product here and then it's their problem. We need to make sure that is our customer, even though it talks to Uber Eats, and they get something. So we work with them in terms of how we package in, what's the best way to package, delivery times, which stores, radiuses, etc., to make sure the product gets delivered.
What percentage of your sales are deliveries? 5?
It's around 10% today. But the issue, the delivery is growing so significantly. You cannot avoid it. There's a lot of talk about the delivery fees being exceptionally high. It's just a space you can't. People want choice. They want to be able to eat in different environments. Part of what we do is also making sure that we talk about forecourts, we talk about stores within stores. It's just making the food and healthy food more accessible, and the delivery channel is just another distribution point.
How are you feeling about our economy? I mean, this is just a little bit before lunchtime. We've had healthy foot traffic through here. You're in a bustling metropolitan area where people will walk to lunch. They'll come into lunch in about 25 minutes, half an hour's time. there is a vibe and there is activity, but is there sufficient activity to keep you interested in this market?
I think times are tough in South Africa, and I think we have some tough times ahead. We've been very fortunate in terms of, even if that pie is not getting bigger, we are attracting people, and there's a shift in people's eating habits. So even though consumer spending is not increasing, we are seeing people move away from unhealthy food to healthy food, and that has fueled our growth.
Dean Kowalski, thank you very much. Dean Kowalski is the chief executive of Real Foods. Real Foods is the owner of Kauai, with its global ambitions and the stores opening in places as diverse as the Netherlands and Thailand as the first experiments into doing franchise agreements internationally. And it all started just over 30 years ago with a couple of Americans who brought the concept to South Africa with flowers and stuff. There's not a flower to be seen, thank goodness, in Kauai in 2019. Thanks very much for watching. Good night.